How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. What does every single cryptocurrency and every single company in the world want? Attention. Attention, right? Attention brings everything else you want. It brings growth, it brings money, it brings hopefully good customers, right? And it's really interesting because when you look at some of the best companies over the last 10 years, what are those companies? Well, it's Google, Apple, maybe Tesla, Amazon, Facebook. And what do those companies do? They get your attention. They get your attention and then sell you stuff or help people sell you stuff. They get your information, right? And this is something I hadn't really thought about, but I had thought about creating email lists before, right? If you're in business, you probably either created an email list or you thought about it. They're very valuable. The going rate or the going thought process is, they're worth as much as your customers are engaged or the emailees are engaged. So if you have a really good group of customers, it's worth more. And if you get people that never read your emails because you just spam them, they're worth less. But the going thought process is maybe $1 per month per subscriber. Okay, so this is valued a lot higher. Email lists are generally considered to be worth more than something like Twitter followers, right? If you have 10,000 Twitter followers, you're still probably not making $10,000 a month from Twitter. So it is interesting to think, okay, how does this come into crypto? How can crypto make this better? Which is where Ethermail comes in. Ethermail is a really interesting project. It's one that I am working with. They've been spammed about when their token is coming out. When is their token coming out? When is their token coming out? Because they have a really interesting product, and they've actually created something that people are using in real life. It's not just another cryptocurrency. It's not the 25,000th cryptocurrency that is some little meme coin based on something that will go away. This is a real company making real money. Now, what is it? And there are links to this underneath the video. Well, they explain here, 320 billion emails are sent every day. That's insane. You can't kill email. That's why we thought we would bring it back over to Web3. Now, what are they doing exactly? Well, they're making it so that you actually get rewarded for going into your email. I mean, how many emails do you have? I don't know if it's just me. How many emails do you get where you don't even open them or you stop paying attention to them? I get probably 98%, 99% of my emails I don't even look at. I just see the title or who it's from and I don't look at it. Here, it's really interesting. They connect a wallet to your email. There are a couple different reasons for this. I'll actually show you a bit from their CEO talking recently at Token 2049. But basically, you have a privacy wall where users set your custom preferences around designated content sources. You also, in order to receive promotional emails, you get paid from companies for invading your mailbox. So it's not just, some 1,000 spammers that want to continue to send you emails that don't benefit either of you. No, you get some of the EMT token to avoid being spammed by marketers. You can customize your email addresses and make it more user-friendly for easy sharing and recall while managing your alias settings. There's also a paywall. Like I said, you can set custom preferences around the designated content sources, and you can expand your inbox's capabilities with third-party dApplets, customizing your Web3 email experience. Okay, so this is over on the App Store and the Google Play Store. They have over 1 million users at this point. They have some big investors. Their token is actually going to be listed June 12th. So it's coming very soon with a company that's actually got a lot of real users and has real numbers to back it up, back up their business. I think this could be really interesting. I think this token is going to be really interesting, and they've been building for a while. They joined Twitter back in December 2021, you can actually get some free tokens right now. Download their mobile app and you can earn 500 EMCs. They also are giving away 10,000 EMCs to be distributed to the 10 funniest and most creative tweets. And also, if you refer other people, you can get 250 EMCs as well. I want to talk a little bit more about this, but I do want to play this. This is from their CEO. Talking in Token 2049. I think he does a much better job explaining this than I do, so I'm just going to play this for you for a moment.
Yeah, hi everybody. My name is Gerald Heidenreich. I've been an entrepreneur for the last 15 years actually, and actually I had a company at one point where we had about 10 million users and we were sending 10 million emails per day. We sold the business in 2011 to Amazon, but I'd say I learned a thing or two about email and why email is actually a great way of how to reach best your users. So, big surprise for you perhaps, but having 2,000 email people or lists on your subscribers is not the same thing as having 2,000 people on Facebook. Because Facebook, of course, throttles of who actually sees what you're doing. And in essence, about only 6% to 2% of the people who reach, or we are trying to reach on social media, really see your message. Unless you're paying them every time you want them to see your message. Completely different, of course, in email, because you send an email and 100% of the people have the chance to see it. So that, of course, means that eventually the opening rates are actually completely different in email versus social media. So social media has open rates and read rates of about 1%. Facebook, it's on, whereas email basically has a staggering 4% of opening actually click rates. So it's a very different way of how you can basically reach your users. And that's exactly why email marketing actually is one of those mechanisms which really work. So, small spoiler alert, we are doing a Web3 email solution. We have actually opening rates of 30%. So
that's nuts, right? I guess that's from opting in and getting token rewards, right? They're really dialing in your preferences, but 30% is nuts. That's really good.
10% of what you would see in traditional email marketing. So, email gives you the biggest bang for the buck. About every dollar what you invest, you get $40 back. But there's, of course, a big problem because email marketing is not very easily accepted, even though it's the biggest market in the world. 4.3 billion people in the world use email. It's the second biggest communication channel on earth after the telephone, basically. And everybody has an email. So who doesn't have an email here? Well, there you go. Everybody has an email. And every company in the world is using email to register and basically interact with their customers. So it's there and it's growing every day, even though, of course, there's other and new channels available. So the question is now, so if email is this biggest shit and it's why it's working really well, why is it not much more used actually? And why are companies channeling a big majority of their budget in social media and not really in email marketing? And how can potentially the blockchain and Web3 solve this dilemma? So number one, I don't know how you know how email lists today are generated, but very typically email lists are generated through games, and you have these little boxes and saying, yeah, I also accept to receive these emails, and then you get the spam stuff. So very often, email marketing is considered as something which is not very intrusive to my inbox. People are just sending me stuff all the time, and I don't really want that. So that's, of course, why it's a negative image, because people really never really opted into it. Even in a small print, you actually did opt in probably at one point in time. But it has a very negative impact, and really the people who are kind of your gatekeepers are the Gmails, are the AOLs, are the 1&1 and so on, who basically ensure or basically define of what really reaches your inbox. And very often also you might want to get something which you don't get because it's actually blocked by the big providers in this space. Number one, so difficult to really reach people and really have a big audience basically. Number two, in social media you essentially have a lot of possibilities of targeting, right? I can drill down and say, I want to have this user in this country, for example, with this social profile. So there's a very detailed social graph because I've known and basically generated all this data. In email, you don't really. Because in email, it's kind of a black box. You're sending stuff to all kinds of people with a shotgun, and you're hoping that somebody is going to react. Even with a shotgun, it works, right? So imagine what would happen if I would know that you are interested in sports watches, for example, and luxury cars, and can target you specifically. Today I don't know it, but if I would basically send that email to you with a great offer, very likely you would react probably. But today you just get shit, pardon my language, right? So essentially you get non-relevant emails, and that's the big problem today. So targeting, basically. Number 3 is actually getting worse and worse and worse. So in social media, you have all this third-party information, what you're generating, basically. So Facebook login, Google login, wherever you are logging in with your Facebook or your Gmail profile, they're collecting your data, bring it back home into the Gmail or Facebook enterprise world, basically, and then enrich that data, of course. In email marketing, it's super difficult because essentially the only thing what's there is cookies, right? Because cookies essentially is the way of how you generate and get data about users who have visited your website. And you know, cookies are going to get more and more difficult. Google is going it down and down and down. So it's going to be even more and more difficult in the future to really get people's data and understand what they are doing and really do email tracking on this. So the question, why is Web3 email a very interesting way of how to get out of it? So about 2.5 years ago, we started to think about, so what would happen if you enhance the email and bring it over into Web3? So essentially, what we did is we said, let's combine a wallet address with an email. So it's your wallet address at ethermail.io, essentially. Okay? It's a standard email address. It can be received by any email client. It doesn't sit on the blockchain, but of course, uses encryption and login with your wallet in order to access this, basically. What happens is all of a sudden, that email becomes something super, super powerful. Today, it's just a communication layer. Okay? I send you an email, and then that's it, basically. But with this thing, all of a sudden, there's payment in there, there's encryption in there, and there's identification. What do I mean with this? Take the example here on the left side of a normal process today of receiving an email. Okay, so you receive the email, basically, and then you open up the email, you get an offer for, I don't know, a t-shirt or something like this from Amazon. You click on it, I go on the web, I put it into my shopping basket, and after a lengthy process of between 10 and 12 steps, and depending on the payment mechanism I've had, I had to confirm it on my phone and everything, you eventually land in buying something. So conversion steps are very long, breakup periods are very, very long, essentially. So you have a big funnel where you start here with 100 people potentially, and you end up with potentially 8 or 9 or 10. Because the processes are complicated. So in Web3, this is going to change. So we are already doing this. So essentially, I'm going to send you an email, basically. In that email, you receive it on your Web3 email client, basically. You give me the permission to access, for example, your information. Okay, where do you live? I want to send that article to you. Number 2 is you give me the size of your typical t-shirt, what you wear. And number 3, you do payment. Because it's a wallet, right? You just transfer funds from one wallet to another because the email is a wallet. And the wallet is the email. So it's a completely different way of how you can basically interact with clients. And of course, because the wallet has a lot of information in it, that email will become smarter and smarter. Do you know which device knows most about what you are buying?
Credit
card. It's your credit card, because your credit card essentially has all the information because you're using it every day and you buy something, so the credit card knows it. And do you know why the credit card doesn't basically monetize that information? It's very simple, because the bank doesn't have a contract on a marketing level with you, right? Because they just give you the credit card, they transfer the data to MasterCard and Visa, and then obviously, so MasterCard and Visa don't even know it. Now all of a sudden, this wallet basically is replacing in the future your MasterCard or your credit card. And the wallet knows more and more about you, because the wallet becomes smarter and smarter over time, the more you use it, of course. So then, of course, the email itself also becomes smarter and smarter over time. So I can target better and better, actually, in what you're interested in and give you specialized offers. So what are we doing here? So on the one hand, we are basically providing that email Web3 address. We have well above 1 million users. We are growing every day between 8 and 10,000 people, basically. And at the same time, we basically offer something what we call consensual marketing. So really, the data ownership stays with you. I have my data, I'm the owner of my data. And number 2, I give consent to somebody else that they can send me information about something. The basic layer is I gave a consent because I've bought, for example, a token or NFT from somebody, and that means I have given consent that, for example, I bought the token from you, that you are allowed to now send me consensual information. That's the base layer. It's like your new cookie. If I sell that token to you, you're going to send him the email because I have revoked that conversation and say I no longer have the token. Now target him, basically. So that's number 1. Then number 2 is I can opt in and say I not only don't want to have information from companies whose token NFT I have, I also want to be open to receive targeted offers to me which match my interest based on my wallet information, basically. So then I receive emails which are targeted towards me. And what we do as a company is we take $10,000 from a client. We take between 50 and 70%, so between $5,000 and $7,000, convert it into the email token and give it back to the user. So the user really has an incentive to interact and open up the email and gets a reward for actually doing it. And of course, over time, as this becomes real-time bidding and so on, the reward is going to be specialized more and more, because the more I know that you're interested in luxury watches, I'm very willing to pay you something very relevant for you, because I also know afterwards I can track you, because you've bought afterwards with that wallet something with me. So the email really and the whole wallet experience completely changes in how it's done today. That's the first thing. So you basically can target. The second thing is, and we discussed it before, some of the challenges. With this logic, I can go into the system and say, okay, I want to reach people who are based out of Europe, who are male, who have bought in the past NFT from a fashion brand, for example, Dolce & Gabbana and so on, and who are interested in general in fashion and or finance. And I would then basically get, okay, you can target 134,000 people, I can spend the money, and in real time basically send out that message to all those users in our network. So it's a very easy way of how to do email marketing and actually attract new users. And of course, we are Web3 users, right? So if you have problems today with Facebook and Twitter and so on to basically do ads, well, we are only focused on Web3 at the moment. We're not only doing, before this, basically, so it's all nice and shiny, but what are the results, right? So the results are just amazing. So we started this about 3 months ago. So we have opening rates between 30 and 40%. We have click rates between 30 and 40%. We've generated thousands of users basically for projects. So large projects are spending a lot of money now with us in order to actually get their message out there, because we are a very viable channel in order to get new users. So overall, 2 minutes, I got it. I will be there on time. So 3 things what we're doing, because the last thing I think is also relevant potentially for you. Number 1, email inbox. Number 2, it's the B2B side advertisement. And number 3, it's a marketing hub, where essentially we have like a MailChimp, which allows you to target all your users and manage them basically. As part of this also, we're offering basically a complete onboarding process, where actually we also allow the token to be given out to the people and reward them. Part of this also means that actually you can put in a sign-in with Ethermail on your project, and very easily companies or users actually sign in with our username in your thing, and we transfer to you the email address and the wallet at the same time. So you don't have any more, okay, register with your email, put in your wallet. No, it's both at the same time. It's very seamlessly basically done. So you really have all the information together. And then the last thing, and we believe that's also very relevant, is we are really helping end users to onboard from Web 2 into Web 3. So if you go on ethermail.io now, you essentially just go there, you log in. You all have wallets, so I'm praying to the converted already. But essentially, if you are a Web 2 user, you have no idea about wallets and everything. You take your Gmail, you log in with your Gmail, we create a wallet, a non-custodial wallet for you and the Ethermail, and your Gmail becomes a wallet. I can go then, for example, on OpenSea and buy something on OpenSea with my email. It comes into my email, I sign the transaction in the email itself, the contract is scanned, I have a confirmation of what I've bought, and then I really have a user flow, which is something very familiar to people in Web 2, because everybody knows email, because 4.2 billion people are doing it. Token launches now, we have a big advisory team. We have a booth here in P41, so if you want to learn more about this.
Okay, so how do you get involved? Well, as I said, you can go follow them on Twitter underneath the video. You can get some of these free EMC, some of the free tokens for inviting friends, for setting up your own email this way. If you have a business, you can advertise through them. And if you just want to invest, they are doing a token launch here soon. Now, Ethermail also has a big airdrop. They say to celebrate token launch and start the countdown with us, join the campaign and enjoy exclusive daily rewards from June 3rd to June 11th. And then it explains how to participate. So give this a like, repost it. You can go follow it and find it on my Twitter with the Ethermail link underneath the video, so you can get some free tokens. They also are giving projects away $1,000 in credits for their first ad campaign with them, Avalanche projects, because they just now joined Avalanche. They're now on AVAC. So yeah, I would go follow them. kind of figure out what's best for you, but you can go buy their token here on June 12th. So be on the lookout for that. I'm going to do a follow-up to this as well. I'm just going to see how their launch goes and then follow up in a future video. Again, thank you to Ethermail as well for sponsoring today's video, and check them out down below.